Good morning, Connecticut Yankee checking in with you today from the village of East Harting, where it's all going on. It's April, so essentially springtime, and that means that the fields behind me and really fields surrounding this village are absolutely filled with newborns. Everywhere you look are little lambs and proud mamas who've just given birth. Sheep everywhere, yay! Little lambs everywhere, amazing. It's springtime here in southern England, so that means it's also lambing season. These guys out here in these green and pleasant pastures are all just a few days old, or even younger. Their moms, the ewes, would have mated with select rams in the fall, got pregnant, and then, less than 5 months later, brought all these new lives into the world. Some ewes have 1 lamb, many have 2, and some have 3 or more. This is an exciting time of year. Do you guys still get excited?
Every year. I mean, it's exciting, but very tiring. But yeah, we're running on fumes now, but it's good fun.
Good fun.
We enjoy ourselves.
The 31-year-old Eddie Olphert grew up on his family's farm. And together with his brother Alex, he's been raising sheep since he was a boy. Right now, they're focused on all the expectant mothers and making sure each delivery goes off without a hitch. It's kind of like an ovine maternity ward around here. Most of them give birth on their own without any help?
Most of the time it's absolutely fine. It's just a case of making sure they're not having issues so that we can jump in if we need to. And then they're absolutely fine. But yeah, majority of the time they can push them out, and it's much better for their bonding and kind of just better lambs, better life, and we don't have to intervene, so it's much better that way.
All total, Eddie and his crew at Marden Farms have about 1,900 ewes that have just lambed or are about to lamb. When it's all said and done, they'll have about 3,500 new spring lambs on their hands. That's a lot of tiny sheep. And the good news is, each year about 95% of the newborns survive.
Yeah, as long as the mum's a good mum and they stay with it, they'll lick it dry. And the main thing is make sure that they get the colostrum, the first bit of milk that gives them antibodies from them. So that's the key, is make sure they're going to feed. And if they feed, then they're up, they're happy, and within an hour you probably can't catch them very easily. So yeah, that's the key.
They grow up fast.
First hour is the moment, and then once they're through that, then they'll be happy to skip around in the fields.
The fact that the weather has been relatively warm and sunny helps. It's been fairly dry, too. There's an abundance of fresh, nutritious grass for the ewes to feed on, so they can keep producing the milk that the young ones need to grow and thrive. The lambs won't be weaned for at least a couple of months.
A happy sheep farmer would have a 5% death rate.
5%?
5%. So on a good year, that would be it. But if it's a really horrible wet year, then you'd be looking at a bit more. But ideally, 5%, and you'd be a pleased farmer.
And those are lambs that either don't feed straight away or succumb to the cold?
Don't feed. If it's wet weather, then they're cold, and mothers tend to focus on the one that's strong. They'll just not necessarily get up and go, and that's when the problems arise. But we'll bring them into the barn if we have issues, and then try and nurse them back to health. But yeah, it happens. It is all part of the joys of lambing, really.
And these days, the joys of lambing are high-tech and carefully managed. Through ultrasound scans, Eddie and his team know which ewes are only carrying 1 lamb. So when another sheep has 3 lambs, a spare, as they say, they'll take that 3rd lamb and introduce it to a mom who only has 1 lamb. Ewes have just 2 teats, so 3's a crowd. And having foster moms means more lambs make it, like this little guy here, who's only a few hours old.
It's a very special time of year where you get the lambs, and it's kind of nurturing them, and then you see them go from the pen to out in the fields, and once they're strong enough and happy and you skip them round, that's when you feel a great sense of joy, I think. Yeah. So it doesn't get old for you? Never gets old, no. I think it's always that worry before lambing, and then it comes around, and once you're in it, that's it. A month of fun and games. Fun and games with sheep. Yeah.
Nice. And it's not just the farmers who have fun with the sheep or who get to enjoy this special time of year. Hi, cutie. How you doing, little lamb? Where's your ma? My family and I look forward to seeing fresh new faces in the fields every springtime. I mean, look, how cute is that? You'd think you'd get tired of seeing lambs, but nope. After 7 springtimes spent in the West Sussex countryside, our phones are now filled up with pictures of sheep and lambs. Hi, little ones. Hi, what are you doing in the mud? Funny old things. I'm sure it's hard to keep track, but they say there's more than 20 million sheep in the UK. And obviously at this time of year, there are more arriving every day. So for the next few weeks, I'm sure we'll be flocking to these pastures to admire and say hello to the new arrivals. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.